This call is now being recorded.
All right. I don't have an official intro, so this is it. I'm here with V Gifted One, and before we get started, I'm just going to tell you what I think your handle represents. So the first time I read it, I was thinking V Gifted One, like, oh, he's very gifted, right? I was like, no, that's totally not it. Then I thought maybe it was like virtually gifted. And then I'm driving home from work and I'm just saying the name V Gifted One. I'm like, oh, it probably means the Gifted One. Is that correct?
You can say that. The Gifted One. Yeah.
Right. It's like saying the Gifted One, right? That's what it is?
Yeah, kinda. You can say that.
Okay. All right. So I'm out here at my daughter's tennis practice. So I had like a list of questions that I was going to ask you, but I don't have them on me, but I'm going to try my best to like remember some of them. But I'll start with, what's your earliest Tecmo Bowl memory?
My earliest tecmo memory. Let's see. Winning my first online game. I was a second player with the Atlanta Falcons, and I played this guy named Akio. He was Tampa, and I remembered I was trailing like 14 points. I was able to tie the game in the second half, and then force overtime and hit Andre Rison for the game winner.
Did you win the overtime toss?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that makes it so much more nicer. Like when I see that thing click the other way, I feel a certain way, and it's really hard. Like, did you get
Absolutely.
any kind of like fumbles or interceptions to make that comeback possible?
I think I forced a Gary Anderson fumble on one play that led to a touchdown, and I think I either got an interception on the next drive, and then hit the Rison for the tying score with like 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Andre Rison's pretty awesome. So do you remember the chat afterwards?
There was no chat. It was just my introduction to online play. Yeah,
oh, okay.
He just told me, hey, good game, good, nice comeback, and all that.
Around what year was this? Circa what, like 2000, 2008, or what are we talking about here?
We're talking at least 2019.
2019. Oh, that's recent. Okay,
Yeah.
so you haven't been online too often then. Before 2019, when was the last time you played Tecmo Bowl?
Before 2019, I played the 2013 version of Tecmo Super Bowl. That was the year Peyton Manning set the record, broke the record, and I was trying to match that record. And I was just playing Tecmo Super Bowl solo. And then I started watching the game started watching Twitch, and I was watching like 4 or 5 or 6 people were playing Tecmo Super Bowl in leagues and everything, and that got me interested.
Okay, and then like 6 years later, you finally decided, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot.
Yeah, it was actually Joey Gatz brought me about the Discord thing, and he told me, hey, jump on Discord and get some pickup games, and here I am, 4 years later.
How'd you meet Joey Gatz?
Through Discord. He got me introduced to Discord, and once I got into Discord, Joey Gatz said, "Hey, welcome to the Tecmo Super Bowl server," and he asked me did I get any pickup games, and then as soon as he finished asking, and I did get one, and I told him I won. So we go ahead.
No. So, like, have you had any live tournaments?
Yes.
Okay, what was your first live tournament?
My first live tournament was in the state of Florida, and I participated in Orlando, and with my first ever tournament, I got third place.
Oh, nice.
I remember my first game, and my first game I was Rams Dolphins, and I was the Rams, and my first shutout. My first ever game, I shut out the Dolphins.
Were you pretty nervous in that game?
Not really. I was a little nervous about the other guy was using Marino for a little bit. I know he was going to be throwing a lot, so I kind of figured, okay, just call pass plays and just believe in the coverage.
Where was this at? Was that like at an event center, at a bar, at someone's house?
It was actually at a church.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was actually at a church service, and I got third place, and was pretty nervous. Was a little nervous after my first win, so I got a chance to play other people, so it was nice. It was after the pandemic, because I wanted to go to that tournament, but the pandemic was basically ruined everything. So that was in 2020. So that was 2021. That was my first ever tournament. And then most recently in 2023 early, I participated in another tournament. This time I got fourth, but there was more people, so more people the better.
Was that also in Florida?
Yes.
You got any plans to ever go play at Madison?
I do plan to. Either that or Tundra Bowl, because I saw the last Tundra Bowl. Was like, oh man, it looks like a lot of fun and a lot of excitement.
Okay, you're gonna have to educate me on the Tundra Bowl. Where's that located?
I believe Tundra Bowl is located in Wisconsin.
Ah, yes, Wisconsin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think I probably caught a couple of clips.
I was watching the stream and I was like, oh man. I mean, it was like a lot of players that I played online that were there. Like, I mean, DPS, there was Joey Guest, there was all the big hitters that played online at least once. They were all there and having a good time watching it. It was good to watch it on stream.
You're mentioning the big hitters. Do you have any rivalries with anybody online?
Yeah, I mean, a couple. I got the Riddler. Got a couple of buddies of mine that if you want to consider rivals, but Thrash is probably my biggest rival right now because we practice every now and then.
And who do you enjoy watching the most on stream?
Man, that's a good question. I like to see Nas, Prime, Gats, DPS, the Riddler. They're very entertaining. Tadeos is very entertaining, and Prime.
What makes those guys entertaining to watch?
The way they interact, the way they know the knowledge of the game, and some of their passing attack, especially Nas and Prime. That's why I try to learn how to become a better passer. And certain players like to follow as well, like Randy Wags, as far as defense concerned, because I think he's one of the best defenders in the game.
What have you picked up, like when you didn't know about, and then you were watching some player, like you're like, wow, that's interesting. I never thought about doing that, like on offense and defense.
It's a good question. I was watching a Nas Prime game in Tecmo 2K, and he did some crazy stuff with pass one, and he found out how to get to the running back one very quick, and step up in the pocket. So I learned that and learned how to do a little more back and B, and learn how to scramble like Regulator and War Machine, those type of guys. How to be patient in the pocket, playing with better quarterbacks. So it's not an easy skill.
No, that's definitely a lot of timing. What about on defense?
As far as defense concerned, I learned from Gats how to go around in circles to get better angles. I think like Nas is probably the best at that, and DPS as well, as far as getting JJ picks, how to get the angle for the ball and use your speed. So that's why I try to implement my game too.
You know, I haven't seen Joey Gats play in a long time, but what I remember is he's like one of the best defenders. But I felt like he back and beat a lot. I don't know, maybe it was just that game. What have you noticed about his style of play?
I think Joey is catching up because everyone in the competition is getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes this Tecmo Super Bowl community is great because there's a lot of good rivalries, and they're mostly friendly. to an extent. And Joey has really picked up real quick once he got back on online. So.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy because, like, I had stepped away from the game and I didn't even know who DPS was. And then I after playing him a couple of times, I realized, oh, he's the best player here. Pretty much. Who would you say is your top 3 players online?
You're just gonna put me on the spot, huh? So I think no, I think DPS is right. He's right there. He's right on top of the mountain. DPS is 1, and I think Regulator is a very close 1B, and Nas is up there. I believe Hoff is there, and he's very sneaky too. Prime is there, and I know that I'm missing a few others, but I think those are my top 3, top 5 guys.
What do you think separates these guys at the very top from, let's say, the middle of the pack?
You can't make mistakes. The most important thing, they know how to create turnovers, and you can't make mistakes. When you do make a mistake, they seem to make you pay for it. Especially DPS is one of the best of that. He can make a key play in a key moment, and you never thought you would get back in the game. So the one thing I've learned, you can't make mistakes against anybody, but especially those who are a lot better than you or skill wise.
So let's say it's 4th down and you're on your side of the 50. How often are you going for it? Or are you always punting? Let's not have 50. Let's say on your side, 30 and back, 30 yards and back. In what situations would you go for it on 4th down, and when are you punting?
Well, it depends on the score of the game. If it's no score, I may punt every once in a while. But if it's not, if it's inside the other side of the 50, yeah, I may take a risk every now and then. But if it's inside my own 20 or my own 5, yeah, you got to punt.
And how often are you kicking the field goal when you're in field goal range versus going for it? Do you have good range on your field goals? Do you have that timing lined up?
Yeah, that's something I can master. But I think I know how I can kick from inside of 30, inside of 40. That's probably my best range.
So if you got a field goal that you're going to be kicking at midfield, even if your kicker can make it, you're probably just going to go for it on 4th?
Yeah, I think I can make it. Of course, if I get a super kicker, but most of the time I probably would go for it if I'm on the other side of 50.
Yeah, it took me a long time to realize that you're just trying to line it up with the holder, and it doesn't matter about lining it up with the field. I didn't know that for a long time. It was kind of whack, but
yeah, I think it's between the hash marks. Sometimes it's where the hash mark you are. If you're on the top hash mark, I think it's somewhere down you go to the middle of the mark, and if you're on the bottom, it's a little bit up.
What would you say is your biggest weakness right now in the online game?
3rd down defense is one of them. Sometimes I play well 1st and 2nd down, and sometimes they would convert 3rd, anything 3rd and long, 10 or longer. Is one of my weaknesses, and sometimes I don't make careless mistakes. Sometimes I call too many pass plays on defense and leave everybody open. Even with the best corners and the best DBs in the game, I always seem to make a mistake about leaving the deep guy open. So 3rd down defense, pass defense.
You think you're too aggressive on 3rd down play calling, or you're not aggressive enough on defense?
On defense, I figure I should be a little bit more conservative, and I like to take too many chances, especially early down. So I learn how to use my drones, use a better, not necessarily picking the best player, but using the best player in a certain situation, so I don't have mismatches. So it's a lot of things on defense I can fix.
What's your greatest strength, you would say, online play?
Comebacks. I seem to play better when I'm trailing, if it's 7-0 or 10-0 or 10-3 or something. I seem to play better when I'm trailing.
Okay, so you focus in more. It's like a boxer who gets hit and now they're in.
Yeah, they jab, jab, then you get one like big uppercut. You think you're down, but you never give up on, especially tecmo. It's certain things. Go ahead.
Brett Favre had that reputation in football. I remember watching him. Like, he had to get hit, and then all of a sudden he became a much better quarterback. I don't know.
My favorite quarterback growing up was John Elway, because he seems to make a comeback like every other week. It's like any other moment. He'd be like, 2 minutes to go, I need 10 points. Okay. Let's just do it.
Okay, so it's like the drama of the game.
Yeah, I like the pressure moments.
Yeah, that definitely makes it fun. What are you tapping at normally?
9, somewhere 9 to 10.
Oh,
not
man.
Not a good tapper, but I think they make critical plays when I need to.
If you could bump those numbers up, how many more games do you think you'd win? Like, being able to, if you could just tap like at 14 or 16, you think like you feel like that would improve your win rate?
Probably 3 more games. If I can learn how to intercept more passes and force forward turnovers on defense, I can definitely win like 3 or 4 more games against other people.
What tecmo leagues? What tecmo leagues are you in right now?
Right now, I am currently in the HSTL D League. I am also in the CBT, the tier-based tecmo, which I am the defending champion, because I won the Super Bowl with the Chargers, and this time I am the Atlanta Falcons. I'll be in the CBT playoffs, hoping to defend the crown, if I get a chance to defend it. So.
Have there been back-to-back winners yet?
I believe DPS was a back-to-back. But that was a TBT was a very good. It's a very good league with its tier based. So you certainly the weaker players will get like the stronger players, and everybody else just get in the middle of the pack type of teams, the tier 2s and 3s and 4s. But they seem to manage a lot better. So
okay, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you about the HSTLD. How long have you been in that league?
Well, this is my second stint. This is my second year in the HSTLD league. I was there before, but there was no G League at the time. Then I decided to take a break from it, and then I came back with better understanding of the game, more understanding of what the HSTL league is about. So.
Yeah, drafting is a big part of it. Were you able to like return to the D, or did you have to work your way back up from the G to the D?
Well, when I came back the second time, I started in the G, and then in my second or third run with the G League, I went to the G League Super Bowl, won that, and was able to go to the HSTL D. So when you go to the D League in the championship round, then you're promoted to the HSTL main league.
How far away do you think you are from going, what do you need to do to go from D to the actual premier HSTL?
It's a good question. Just focus on what the players' strengths and weaknesses, focus on their roster, who are the key players they like to use, who's the key player on offense, who I want to take away. I just want to, force the issue and want to make them one-dimensional as much as possible. My defensive philosophy is stopping the run and force them to throw. But sometimes if they would throwing first down, so I need to do a better. I have done a better job of play calling, especially on offense, and I don't want to be like predictable. And that's the most important thing I've learned to step up in, especially offense and defense, because they'll read patterns. So
yes, if you fall into a pattern, you're dead. You're right. Yeah.
Exactly.
What? So, how close were you to did you make the playoffs?
For the D League, no, I didn't. I went 6-10.
Were you close to a demotion, like having to play in a demotion game, or you avoided that?
I avoided that. I avoided demotion this time, so I'm looking to avoid it this time around. I think I got a pretty strong team. It's not as strong as the last team I have. So draft-wise was like the biggest factor for me, and I've started to get better on certain things, and I like to test things and evolve my game and learn from others and learn from them. So I like it, man. I like the league.
Okay, so you have more experience in drafting, but you don't think your team is as strong this year. Why is that?
There's certain areas of defense I would like to address, especially in the secondary, and not enough team speed on defense. But offensively, I think I can score with anybody, but it depends on stopping people. That's the most focus. That's what I focus on the most. Stopping people from scoring. I don't want to be in a back and forth situation. I don't want to be in a shootout type of game. So
you're focusing on defense. So what defensive stoppers do you have in this draft that you got?
Well, for this rendition, I have Reasons and Manny Hendricks, and not many times I get to use a high interception linebacker, so that will be a good test for me. But I do have the speed defensive back to counter that. So those will be the two main people I get to use. Excuse me.
So you drafted a high INT linebacker, and then the rest of the defense, you pretty much just went for speed. You weren't concerned about another high INT guy.
I was hoping for a high INT guy on the defensive back side, but I want to make sure I don't want to give up the big plays. I have a tendency of making a bad call, and they seem to make the big play when it's a long run or a deep pass play that should get there. It's not an easy task, but I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, because I don't know if I have a good draft strategy. Right now, I'm just drafting like all the high INT guys that I can find, and I don't know if that's the best strategy. But you're thinking maybe it's more about speed than interception ability.
For the most part, because I want more opportunities for my defense to get there, even if we don't get the interception or the fumble. Are you in? What league are you?
Dude, I'm in the G, dude. In my playoff game that I thought I had smashed, my running back gets injured like in the first quarter, but it's okay because I think I can, hang. The score is 3-0 the whole game. 3-0 the whole game. And I have a top flight DB. I think he has 69 or 75 INT. And then the last play of the game drops back deep, like at his own 20 or something like that, and he bombs it for a touchdown with no time left on the clock, and I lose 7-3. And it was just like, man, like, yeah, I'm stuck in the G League for another year. I used to consider myself a decent player, but it's like, if I can't even get out of the G League, I got to work on things. Like, I think like scouting, like you said, is important. I haven't done that. I used to, okay, check this out. I was so like into this game. Like back then it was in the it wasn't Nestopia. It was Nesticle, which means there was no twitching. There was no streaming. I would go and download all the little NES files and play them. And when I was in college, I'd just be watching film, be like, okay, I got to do this. And then I would like create all these scenarios, and then I would move see, okay, when he runs this play, how can I make sure that I'm in the right frame? Like, what player do I have to control? So I would just like hammer it over and over and go through all those things. But like do you ever get that deep whenever you're trying to like win a game?
Oh, absolutely. Especially there's certain plays I wouldn't use, and there's certain players I like to use, and especially in pass coverage, because you don't want to have like another DB going up the field, and I always thinking about that strategy all the time, especially on defense. Getting drones in the right position, making sure that everyone is on point and everybody knows who to cover, and I know where the quarterback might go. Oh, I'm thinking about that on every play.
What does your division look like this year? You think you can like get to 8-8 maybe, or 9-7?
Division wise, it's a little tougher. I got some good competition. I faced at least all three of them from last year. So, and they got like a lot of offensive weapons. So it should be high scoring affair on most cases. In some cases, we'll see.
Is there even a weak division in the D League?
I don't think so. As a whole, I don't think so. There's a lot of strong players that they all want the same thing. They want to get to the main league. So
I know, that's where everybody wants to be. And it just, I feel like if I can get to the D League, I'd be happy, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to surpass that. What did you think about Randy Fairfield's exit?
Yeah, it was a bad sequence for him. It was a bad day for the community, and let's hope he gets his act together. That's the best thing I can say about it.
Did you get to watch it live?
I heard about it and I saw the clips about it. I mean, at first I was like, wow, he really took it hard, and I said to myself, that will not happen to me.
Yeah.
Be the bad influence for the rest of the community. So he was a cancer, and I hope he comes back with a better idea, out of better mindset. So it's just a video game, just a video game.
Yeah, he kind of lost it. I don't know if Hoff will ever let him back, but who knows? Time will heal all wounds, maybe. Okay, we'll see. Okay, to move on from that, I had to ask you some questions about your interests, and this is where I was gonna set up slides and try to do all this stuff. I'm like, man, if I do all this extra work, I don't think I'll ever get this done. So right now I'm just sitting in my car talking to you on the phone. Gonna upload this later to SoundCloud. You had mentioned poetry. When did you realize, man, I really like poetry?
Started in high school, actually, grade school, when I moved from Florida from New York to Florida. I always thought, because I listened to a lot of hip hop, and poetry was always a thing of mine to, think, let my mind go free, and just talk about things,
Okay, I'm going to come back to the hip hop questions. But what's the first poem you read in text, in a book, and you're like, I get this. I see what they're trying to say. You saw through the words, and you could envision what the author's meaning was behind it.
I have a book that I keep all my poetry in, and I made a poetry Bible. I don't have it with me right now. Let me see if I can pull it out. But give me 1 second.
Yeah, go for it.
See. Oh.
I've always liked poetry, but I never felt like I understood all the metaphors behind it. I felt like my brain didn't work like that for a long time. And then I felt like it kind of started going that way. And I don't know why. I feel like recently I'm starting to see things a little differently, and I could see more meaning in things. Because I would be the kind of guy that would listen to a song and I'd get the lyrics wrong. I thought they were saying one thing, but it was actually something else. And I was like, man, I'm so bad at this, And then finally I could hear the lyrics, but I couldn't interpret them. And now I feel like, okay, I'm getting to this level where I'm like, man, music is just awesome. Just poems are great. And I want to get more into that. But go ahead. I feel like you found what you're looking for.
Yeah, I did. I keep a list of poems. I think I wrote a lot of things about being motivation, love, hate, having faith, what's going on in life. I wrote one called the Angel That Flew Away. It's one of those poems that I thought about writing in school. I wanted to talk about how I was so shy when I was talking to girls and had an interest in one girl, and I would be so shy and afraid to be rejected, So I talk about that because that's how I was growing up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that, but they don't like to admit to it. Because I had the same situation when I was in middle school and in high school, and I came from a kind of a weird background. And I'm not going to get on into all that, but I would actually write poems for girls, or I'd write letters, And it was just like, it never went the way I thought it would go. And then the guys who weren't writing the letters, the guys who were just a different, complete way, were the guys that were usually getting the girl. And it kind of reminds me of that interview with Tupac, where, this is before he became Tupac. And he was talking like, oh, and these guys will call the girls the B word. There's that famous clip, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where he doesn't even say the word, he just says the B word, and he's very like effeminate, and, because obviously he grew up with his mother, and he's very understanding of women. Of course, I think he kind of went like method acting, and he went this other route, but again, I'm not going to get into all that, but it was just like, it's interesting, the transition. And, I don't want to go on and on and on, but I feel like a lot of it is just what men have done to women. When you think about the way they've been oppressed, subjected, like, it's no wonder that they're attracted to certain things, because it's like trauma that's already deeply ingrained in their DNA. I want this woman, I'm just going to take her. You know what I mean? So this is like, you're talking about prehistoric, it's just how it's terrible way that it's been. But go ahead and like share like the poem that you're about to read.
It's not like the good old days when you want to ask a girl and he'll say yes, and then it's like a few hours later you're getting dressed and getting ready, and the next thing you know you get a call, and the girl says, hey, I got some other plans going on, and you're like so anxious, so nervous, and you want to like make it work for the first date, and then boom, things change. It's a different time and a different era that we live in. But you just have to go with the times. So.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like the cell phone really changed things, because a lot of times girls will be staying at home waiting for a phone call, but then once they had a cell phone, well, they can go out and do what they wanted. I'm not saying these are bad things. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just saying it just changed the direction of the way things went. And then, of course, you got a lot of broken homes. A lot of girls growing up seeing either no father in the home or their father disrespecting their mother. So you kind of have to see, like, the difficulty is because women have not been exposed to enough good, and it's not their fault. It's just, especially when they've been the underfoot of man this whole time. But was there a poem you wanted to share, or was there something you wanted to share? A poem?
Yeah, here we go. I want to share the motivation.
Go for it.
All right, the motivation. The sun is shining as the day starts. What do you feel inside your heart? Do you feel blessed, cursed, loved, or afraid? Faith in yourself or equipped with rage? What are the questions that need to be answered? To determine the lifespan, people can be mastered. The time is now to turn the page. Open up your mind and let your story engage. Ignore the criticism, believe in yourself, embrace the moment, and have good health. At the end of the day, you're filled with joy. The enjoyment is going like playing with toys. Anything can happen when you come prepared. Having patience is important in rarefied air. Your dream may fade into oblivion. Keep your mind sharp in every situation. It's not a question of when, it's a question of who. The only person who can solve these questions is you. Use failure to fuel the lone crown jewel. Make people look dumbfounded, acting like fools. Your goal should be clear, set the standards high. Annihilate the pressure, take life to the sky.
I like that part where you said it's you. Because a lot of times we try to search outside of ourselves, but like all the answers are here within us. So that I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's when people were having the mental health problems is the biggest thing, and I think the most important thing that for men, and not just men, everybody, men, women, you gotta have confidence in yourself. If you don't have any confidence in yourself, man, you can't do anything. So.
Unfortunately, that's true. Like, if you don't have confidence, people aren't going to listen to you. They're not going to want to be around you too much unless these people that are around you are looking to take advantage of you, which is a horrible thing or a horrible situation to be in. When did you write that? How long ago did you write that?
It was years ago. When I started writing after my college years. So.
Okay. So a few years back you were, or several years back you were in college. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. What were you going to school for?
I went to Daytona State College. I got a Associate of Arts and Science degree in television digital media.
Oh, that's nice. Do you have like projects that like you upload or like YouTube stuff or?
We were doing a weekly sports show. We covered all the bases of the school's athletics, from women's fast pitch softball to men's baseball, men and women basketball, track and field, women's golf, and we put them together in a 30-minute program.
So sports has kind of always been sports has always kind of been part of your life then.
Oh yeah.
And this is kind of like
me and my older brothers, and dad, my father, we always watch a lot of sports, a lot of baseball, a lot of football, basketball, Olympics, and it's very motivational for us that we're big football fans. We follow the NFL. We follow a lot of college football as well. We have we have loyalties to our teams. My older brother's a Giant fan. The other's a Dallas fan. My dad's a Colts fan, and I follow Denver. So
because of John Elway.
Yeah.
And
my dad hates LA, by the way.
So that was your active rebellion. What sports do you and your brother like playing together growing up?
Well, we played a lot of basketball against one-on-one against each other. I always lose, but I always fight back though. I'm not gonna surrender and back down. But when we played Tecmo Super Bowl together, I only played my own brothers like once, and I've lost to like the first two matches. But then I got to the Super Bowl, and I played my second older brother in the Super Bowl. He was a man, and I was Denver. So he went on the first drive, went 3-and-out, and didn't quit. And I was like, okay, because you want to see how it goes. But he just did 3 plays and then left.
So he's not interested in joining no Tecmo Bowl league.
And that was like, I will never forget that. It's like, wow, if you ever rage quit like that, if someone did that to me, I would be disappointed, you know. It was a fun time. It was a fun time. They don't play Tecmo Super Bowl like I do, but they always watch me play. So I'm happy for that.
That's a blessing to have a brother, a friend. And you mentioned basketball. So I posted a random a stat yesterday, and I noticed like you kind of had a little reaction to it. Are you a big Steph Curry fan?
Steph Curry is a good player. I'm not a fan of him, but I respect his game.
Yeah, he's definitely great. What basketball team you following?
I follow the Phoenix Suns, but I watched a lot of 80s NBA. It was fun times in the 90s NBA. It's more challenging, more fun than what it is today.
Okay, let's see if we're on the same page. Any like basketball game ever make you cry because you're just so sad or disappointed?
Let me see. New York Knicks, 1994. They played the Houston Rockets, and I thought they were going to win that series. Unfortunately, they lost Game 6 and 7 in Houston. That one made me a little disappointed. Another one was the Orlando Magic when they got swept by the Bulls in '96. That one made me cry a little bit because I liked the Magic when they had Shaq and Penny.
Man, that's a big what if, man. If Shaq and Penny would have gotten past the Bulls,
oh my God,
that would have changed the whole landscape of the NBA. Kobe Bryant's career, like so many things changed if Shaq and Penny stay together.
Because the 2 years before they were in the final. Unfortunately, they lost to the Rockets and they got swept by Houston because the Houston Rockets back then was a very experienced team, and plus Clyde Drexler wanted to get a ring. So
it does make me wonder if Nick Anderson makes those free throws and they win Game 1.
Right.
Like they might win that series. You know, I don't know if they ever recovered from it mentally, being such a young team. But since I asked you the question, I'll answer it. Like, as you had mentioned the Suns, watching Charles Barkley lose to the Bulls in 6, I remember I remember like crying as I'm like, Charles Barkley's never going to win a ring. I'm just a kid, right? And I remember my grandma was like, what's wrong? And I'm just like, And I was just like, he lost, Grandma. Like, Charles Barkley lost. Like, as a kid, like, you get into these, like, storylines, like, oh, they've never won a championship. And you're like, oh, like, the most important thing, championship, whatever.
Oh, man. Oh,
but that, like, the Knicks losing, because I was always a big Patrick Ewing fan. I like Olajuwon, too. I'm Texas, so I support Olajuwon. But Ewing, I just felt like, that guy would sweat so much. I mean, I don't know if it was like some kind of sweat gland issue, but like I just felt like he was always giving it all. You know what I mean? That's what I felt like basketball was in the 90s. Like it was just everything. And I feel like now it's not the same, but they're definitely more talented. And I feel like with these modern rules, if you just put a team and just drop them in, like they would squash a lot of these teams just because of the way the game, the spacing, the movement, the 90s teams wouldn't be able to handle that. But you throw them into the 90s era where they're playing a lot of ISO ball and different things, then they would probably win on grit, and, toughness. But maybe that's just me being old.
The 90s teams were all about the centers. It wasn't about like guard play or point guard was shooting. It was like if you had a dominating center like Olajuwon, you get Ewing and young Shaq, or even hit a center that can just defend the middle of the court like a Mark Eaton. You had a chance. I mean, you had a chance to win games. You had a chance to, like, get further in the playoffs. Because it was, like, dominated by big men. And I grew up in the 80s with the Lakers and the Celtics. I mean, Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson, that's how their basketball has changed and how great those teams were. I mean, Bird, Self, and McHale and Parrish, and you had Magic, Worthy, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Those were the days, man.
Yeah, they definitely saved the NBA. The 80s, the NBA was about to, go under because they had an image problem, and Magic and Bird definitely saved the NBA. And then, of course, Jordan took it to new heights. And then after that, they've been able to package it and promote it, and it's global. And
right.
I mean, I grew up playing a lot of basketball. Basketball is a hell of a game. But I don't recognize the game today, the game I played when I was a kid. But right. I decided to let go of that mentality and just enjoy it for what it is,
Yeah. I mean,
because
everyone thinks like LeBron James is the greatest player of all time, which is, it's true for this generation. But Michael Jordan in his prime, yeah.
Well, not to like compare eras too much, but I feel like LeBron's a front runner because that's just kind of how his life has always been. When it like he can really crush, if he has the advantage, like he's gonna crush. But I don't know how well he handles adversity, and I'm not saying he can't handle it, but I'm not saying he necessarily shies away from it. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But like Jordan thrived, I felt like on stuff like that, and LeBron, maybe I guess I could say he kind of shies away from stuff like that. So that's I think where you give the edge. Even if LeBron is just beast, genetic freak. Jordan was too, of course, not at that same level LeBron is, but
I think it's more of a mental game. Jordan had the better mental game as far as hitting clutch shots in the fourth quarter when you're tired, when you need a big play. Jordan would always come through.
Did you see
key defensive stop or key free throw or make the key shot when you need it? Jordan was the man.
Yeah. Did you see his Hall of Fame speech?
And Jordan was Kobe was like that too.
Yeah, Kobe definitely emulated Jordan. Did you see Jordan's Hall of Fame speech?
No, I did not.
You know what? That might be something to rewatch because that is so Michael Jordan. It's like unapologetically him. That is. If you haven't seen that Hall of Fame speech by Jordan, I'm not saying it's a great speech. I'm just saying that's Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like if you want to, and when LeBron retires, his speech is going to be a hell of a lot different than Michael Jordan's. And I guess it's just more of like what you're a fan of. But like LeBron is more about wanting to be liked. Jordan did not care about being liked.
And like one of the things that I've learned about Michael Jordan, he really had a heart when they did the Kobe Bryant memorial service.
Oh yeah.
Michael Jordan did that meme. He did that crying meme, and everyone was like, did the meme though. He really showed his heart there. He compared Kobe Bryant as a big brother to him, and I respect that.
I would have to agree with you on that one. I felt like what Jordan did was very authentic, and it felt very real to me. And when I saw LeBron do that response where he's like, he's going to read off a paper, then he crumbles it up and he throws it away, I felt like that was, it just felt so rehearsed. Like he knew he was going to do that. And I feel like everything about LeBron is like it's manufactured. Like I used to follow his Twitter and I used to be in all that stuff, and I would notice like he's very good at product placement. You know, if the Olympics were happening in Brazil, he had to make sure that he somehow attached himself to it. He was very good at attaching himself to trending stories. And it just felt like everything he did was scripted. And in that moment, I felt like that's just like exemplified like more or less. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm not here to judge his character. I'm just saying like it's just a script. You know, there's not a lot of authenticity to him, you know, and I think like because of that reason, that's why he yearns to be liked so much, because I feel, you know, I don't want to get all psychological in this, but yeah, Jordan over LeBron, for sure. So.
But LeBron, I mean, in today's NBA, he's done so much and done very well on and off the court. He's more than just a basketball player. He's human, just like everybody else.
Right.
He's
no.
definitely a motivated man to make things right.
Yeah, he got it done.
That's one thing. Yeah, that's the one thing that LeBron took from Jordan. I'm sure Jordan would appreciate it, in my opinion.
All right, we're gonna end on this. And I don't know how many people are actually gonna listen to this podcast, but we'll end on this. If you had a message you want to share with the Tecmo community, what would it be?
Hey, let's keep this going, man. Tecmo Super Bowl will not stop. Let's keep going. Let's keep motivating each other, become better players, and build more rivalries and have more fun. So watch out for VG1, baby. He's coming.
All right, man. I love it. I appreciate you stepping out of your comfort zone to call some wacko like Twister. And
thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, you enjoy your evening, bro. And I'm gonna keep a closer on your HSTLD run. See if you can get out of there and hit up into the Premier League.
I strongly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, have a great one, man.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.